The weekly sing-along at Parkwood House Nursing Home in Plymouth. It's been Ruby's home for 2 years. Now 93 years old, she needs round-the-clock care, and her son Barry couldn't manage it alone, but he visits her every day.
And I'm on a pension, so it is a bit hard. It is a bit hard to keep her happy. They could do a bit more, the government, couldn't they? But it's a struggle. It is a struggle. We find it hard, but I wouldn't mind paying extra if it had to.
Ruby's care home place is paid for through her state pension, money from the council, plus a £60 monthly top-up from Barry. But homes like these are running on a knife edge as Plymouth Council struggles to cope with the rising cost of an ageing population and central government cuts.
It wouldn't take that much to push a provider over the edge. So if you had a bad run, a difficult run, and you had a lot of things that went wrong in the building, for example, you could be facing a situation where there is a real cash crisis all of a sudden.
Problems for the Conservative-led council in Plymouth, the local Tory MP is prepared to turn it into a problem for his Prime Minister too if she doesn't show she's been listening when next week's budget's delivered.
I was disappointed, certainly in the autumn statement, that nothing came out of that. I think if nothing comes out of the March budget, you're going to see a group of us, I think, exerting a significant amount of pressure around social care.
This picturesque marginal constituency on the south coast is beset by inequality, with affluent neighbourhoods sitting alongside some of the most deprived in the country. Over 40% of the council's £183 million a year budget is already spent on social care. Up and down the country, local authorities like Plymouth are trying to raise council tax bills as much as they can to try and plug the funding gap for social care. But this is a system at crisis point, and the answer can't come from places like here. It has to come from Westminster. This week, Plymouth Council voted through the biggest tax rise in 8 years.
The proposed overall level of council tax increase for Plymouth City Council for 2017-18 is 4.49%.
This Conservative councillor says she's done all she can.
At the moment, we really are at tipping point. We can't sustain it in the system that we've got now. We do need to look at it. But I think initially we would like an upfront payment to help us through the initial gap, but that's just going to be a sticking plaster unless we do that full-scale reform.
With warnings of a £2.6 billion black hole in social care funding by 2020, expectations are now growing that Theresa May will promise more money in the budget to deal with that funding squeeze.